Yilin, ton micro est désactivé.
Good morning. Thank you for joining this webinar. Can everyone hear me? If you can. Hello. Hey, good to see you. Hello, Sabine. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm just waiting for loud and clear. Great. Okay, let's start. Welcome to this webinar, Elevating Travel Retail Experience in Europe for Chinese Luxury Travel Shoppers. I'm your host, Yilin. Thank you so much for being here today. Today's webinar is for those who are interested in Chinese outbound travelers and who want to figure out how to leverage your potential in the post-pandemic, leverage their potential in the post-pandemic EMEA travel retail market. So I'm just waiting for, okay. At the end of this webinar, my goal is to bring you some of the latest insight about Chinese outbound travelers, and we answer this core question: why it is urgent in 2025 to meet the new expectations of Chinese travelers for EMEA travel retail market. And we are going to talk about key profiles of Chinese luxury shoppers in Europe in 2025 and their expectations while they buy in duty-free, as well as some of brands and retail activity examples which are proven appealing to today's Chinese travelers. Okay, welcome. Before we start, let me ask some questions. Let me know you more. Please type in the chat. Please type in one chat. 3 questions. Start with Q1, Q2, Q3. First, your industry. Second, your objective with Chinese travelers. Third, your timeline for those objectives. Okay. Yeah, it'd be great if you regrouped all the 3 questions, the Q1, Q2, Q4 in one chat, and then I will not need to scrolling because we have many attendants. Okay, luxury. And Serge, I know you. Thank you for re-attending. So welcome for the latecomers. I'm just asking for the, okay, elevating customer experiences. So it will be 6 months, travel retail duty free. Yeah, this is the right place. Okay, well noted. So welcome for the latecomers. I'm just asking all the asking the 3 questions. If you like, you can type your answers in the chat, in one chat about first one, starting with Q1, your industry, your objective with Chinese travelers, and your timeline for these objectives. Thank you. Ongoing, understanding expectations. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Luxury. Merci Hervé. Bonjour Isabelle. Spirits. Okay, we have many from spirits industry today. I'm just waiting a bit. Hello Melvin. Our brand product available in store 3 months. So I think we have the timelines quite urgent, different timelines, 3 months, 12 months, now ongoing. Okay, great. Yeah, thank you very much for your answers. Hello, Dono. Perfume, understand of their UNA when they buy in duty free, okay, from 6 months to 1 year. Okay, very clear. So I think I have, okay. So thank you very much. Hello. Yeah, there's another one coming. Q2. Okay. So, okay, thank you very much for answering, typing your information. And during the presentation, if you have any questions, you can just go ahead and type your question with a Q in the chat, and then type your question. I will see it, and I will address it at the end of this webinar. So let's start. Yeah, today's attendant should be very familiar with this store. This is actually the Louis Vuitton store in the Champs-Élysées, Paris. Actually, this is the store I start my travel retail experiences. My very first step as a sales associate, long time ago. I spent 6 months working actually 7 hours a day, welcoming global shoppers, including Chinese travelers. Every day, actually, the vital challenge for me is to be able to understand as quickly as possible to the real expectations of customers, just beyond a simple sentence. I want this bag, I want that belt. During these 6 months, I got the moment of déclic in French from a French customer. This is a scenario actually I still remember very well even today, after 10 years, more than 10 years. Actually, she has lost her LV bracelet, which is a bijou fantaisie in the bijou fantaisie collection. She told me it was a birthday gift from her husband. She was very, very upset when she found that this model was no longer available in the store. So when I said, let me try to find a similar one that you may also like to make up for the loss, pour combler le vide, I still remember the word I used in French. And after these sentences, her face shined. She looked like released. And by the end, she walked out the store with a new bracelet that I proposed to her on her wrist very happily. So from that day on, I understood the real essence of closing a successful sale. To truly earn a customer's trust, regardless of the language I speak, I need to genuinely link with the customer and see the customer's real needs. Link and see are the two sine qua non conditions to engage customers authentically. This lesson has stayed with across my different marketing roles, whatever in travel retail or local markets. So I have a quick introduce about myself. My name is Yilin. I'm the founder and the CEO of Yilin Consulting. We are a Paris-based consulting company founded this year. Our mission is to create the most culturally intuitive and meaningful encounter between brands, travel retail operators, and the Chinese travelers across EMEA duty-free ecosystem. We are specialized in building tailor-made omni-channel marketing activations and cultural upskilling training for EMEA travel retail frontline staff, aiming to leverage the underexplored potential of Chinese luxury shopper in Europe. We have built our expertise among top industry leaders in beauty luxury travel retail, such as L'Oréal Travel Retail, Lagardère, Chanel. And through these different roles in marketing operation, digital, and e-commerce, both in Asia Pacific region and in Europe. We have launched this digital activation. Actually, when I was in Lagardère Travel Retail, I have initiated, developed, and implemented from A to Z the digital activation used as WeChat, named Red Packet, across key flagship stores in Europe of Alia Duty Free. This initiative has been nominated as highly commended by the Moody's Digital Awards in the category Best Use of WeChat. Accessorily, I'm also a certified Chinese teacher for the language of for the speakers of other languages. So it's to reinforce my legitimacy in the cross-culture communication. And we have also contributed to travel retail topics in the leading media such as Jin Daily and Forme de Luxe. And from September, we'll start content collaboration with a reference of the travel retail, the Moody Debit Report. And I'm very excited about this. So we have named our framework as LINXY based on the 3 steps of customer engagement journey that we have just mentioned previously, we settled as objective to meet. First step, link authentically with customer through appealing offers or appealing customer journey. Second, see through the real-time needs and see customers' real-time need and evolving expectations. Thirdly, engage them effectively with culturally precise experiences and services. Also, the LINXY, phonetically, it's symbolic C, LINX stands for Chinese. So when we talk about Chinese, the good news is in 2025, they are back to travel. According to the latest projection of Euromonitor, for Chinese global outbound tourism spending, an estimated one by 2025 will plus 8%. And for 2026 next year, this projection will be at plus 8 and plus 20% versus 2019, which is a very, very encouraging sign. So Chinese are back to Europe. This is really good. Here's another, this chart illustrates the average spend per night by outbound travelers around the world. So the key takeaway you can see, the very remarkably, Chinese is the most willing to spend. Here you have the currency in the USD. So Chinese per night, they spend around 480 USD while they stay in Europe, which equivalent about 410 euros. So according to the deputy general manager of the LINXY is the Alibaba-owned online travel agency dedicated for travel booking and leisure booking when Chinese travelers overseas. There have been a 32% rise in the average spending per trip in 2024 versus 2019. And this director of LINXY, he highlighted that immersive engagement is a major factor behind this growth. Travelers are making more purchases during their trips and seeking diverse, enriched travel experiences through various itineraries. So this is a key feature. Very great news. And the other great news is actually Europe is Chinese travelers' favorite long-haul destination, right after Asia Pacific, which remains the top favorite region for Chinese travelers. According to Airbnb China's 2025 May holiday outbound travel report, European countries account for more than half of the top 30 hot destinations searched by Chinese travelers globally. So among top 30, more than half of European countries. So Europe holds great potential to maximize Chinese travelers' business here. And as you may have observed in your store or in your chat, in the data you have received from your frontline staff, that Chinese travelers, they have evolved, they have changed. In my previous webinar, I have talked about the involvement of Chinese travelers before and after pandemic, and also their perception shift on the travel retail and the duty-free, overseas duty-free shoppings. If anyone, okay, thank you. I saw the R1 already typed in the chat. Anyone interested, I will send you the first webinar's replay together with the second one. Now the question is, who are these Chinese who is traveling in 2025? I'm too ahead of time. Qui sont ces Chinois? Who are they? Alors, I'm going to show you some photo maybe you are very familiar with. I put the date. This is a photo taken 10 years ago. Okay, wow, this is really 10 years with a group of a massive group packing in front of Louvre. When was the last time you see this? Are they still traveling like this, packing in a group model, waiting in front of the luxury boutique within Parisian, it looks like Lafayette. Or when was the last time you have seen this? This is also 10 years ago. The last 10 years ago, the summer, you have seen all these, I think it's a building of, it's a area, it's a two Chinese buildings on the street next to Lafayette. So I think comes to 2025 this year, the key message of this webinar, I'll say is FIT. For the important things, I'll state 3 times. So FIT stands for Free and Independent Travelers, which is proven as a dominant trend for the Chinese travelers in 2025, according to the latest Chinese outbound travel trade survey from July 2025. So around 70% of Chinese travelers are travel in the free model or semi-guided smaller group, which are smaller than the previous big groups that we have seen here. So it's now we're all counted in the free model, since they don't need a guide to guide them, to bring them to a duty-free store, whatever in downtown, or another luxury store to shop. They don't need any help. And for the still have 29%, around 30% of the Chinese travelers who are still traveling in group for 2 major reasons. First reason is for the language reason, especially for those who don't speak English. Many Generation Z of Chinese travelers, they can speak English fluently. So they don't, for the second barrier when they travel to the countries, destinations, it's for the safety reason. They prefer to stay in a group. But even for the group travelers, they prefer to stay in a smaller group comparing to the previous trend pre-pandemic. So we can say the Chinese FIT travel, free and independent travel mode, is the dominant and the trending mode for the upcoming years for Chinese outbound travels. And here is a very interesting chart. You can see the bar on in blue. It stands for the age segment for Europe, for Chinese travelers coming to Europe. And the red one is for the Chinese travelers to worldwide. So interestingly, Europe, we have mainly, it are very, very young. 64% are post-19 or post-2000. So young student, Gen Z dominated. And secondly, second part is comparing to it's a post-80s and the post-70s. They are mainly the major source of luxury spenders. And I'm not saying that Gen Z doesn't spend luxury. It's another type of customers. And also in this part, you also have another type of the customers I'll talk about later. And for the older ones, I think so for Europe, Chinese travelers in Europe are mainly young, active, and huge potential shopping powers. So this chart is this is a very interesting profile of the Chinese travelers when it comes to the Europe. So I have picked the UGC coming from Rednote, the search engine for Chinese travelers when they come traveling out of China. So this is all the UGC, user-generated content, dated from this year. So you can see from left to right side, the business travelers makes up 13%, 1/3 of Chinese outbound travelers. This is a Xiaomi, famous company's CMO. She has made kind of like a vlog when she doing the business trip in Europe. And she has kept this after 9 hours of flight. And families stands for travel. 28% travel there with their families. Here you have the younger families with mom and 6-year-old daughter. And another type of the family is the Gen Z with their parents, who are remaining the active, the early retirees are not retired. It's another type of the family. which stands for the second group, is 28%. The largest group within the segment is actually our couples, account for 34%, and followed by the travel with friends. This is 16 days of travel in Italy. The vloggers, she is trying to find friends, travel together overseas on the 小红书. It's very interesting. And the solo travelers represent a small portion, just 2%. So the majority comes in couples, in friends, in families, and also business. In terms of consumption level, which is quite aligned with the profile level, we can see mid-range consumption is 38%, 65% is mid-range. So I think it's very aligned with the age group. 64% comes from the post-90s and the post-200. Voilà. And also second segment is luxury, stands for 22%. And the 13% is a budget. So you have this big part, mid-range to luxury, can be a big stretch in terms of consumption level. Do feet speak frequently English? Especially young one, I think yes. You know, you see, like I was born in the post-80. And I speak English. And for the post-90s and the post-200, they speak more fluently English as their parents' generation, who are mainly comes from the post-60s or post-50s. Price basket for budget, luxury, mid-range. Okay, I'll take notes for this. Yeah, I don't have that information right away. I'll take notes. Okay, thank you for the questions. And so the three key profiles for the Chinese travelers, we have identified three key profiles of the Chinese travelers. So the major one comes from the Gen Z. This is also the UGC from 小红书, and which represents a large part. They are the ones coming directly from China, like this one. She's sharing all the trips, Paris and the south of France, 9 days. And this one, the guy, he lives in the UK, and he have a trip to Paris with his parents. And I put the active senior in the middle because this is actually the segment. Somehow I feel it's been ignored by a lot of luxury brands and offers. Actually, the active senior, they are the early retirees, are not retired. They have their kids studying abroad or working, have the chance to work abroad. Here is the first time travel with parents in Europe. And the girl is sharing how they buy watches in Vienna. And this one is, it's a kind of like a slow travel after retirement. The lady, she's doing the solo travel from Barcelona. So it's quite, for this segment, actually, they have a huge spending power. They are almost empty nest, and also they have a lot of time. But somehow the language barrier can be a problem for these active seniors. But if they are accompanied by their kids, there won't be a language barrier problem. And there is a third segment in Europe that I want to highlight is the pleasure, business, and leisure combined. So this guy in 小红书is a platform we have mainly see a lot of women sharing. And this guy, she said, I'm a see something all from the top 100 director of top 500 companies, 5 days, 4 countries vlog. So he's actively sharing his trip on 小红书as well. And this is for Paris OOTD. When you travel to Paris, you get some inspiration. This lady, voilà. This all happened in 2025. So it's quite interesting, 3 profiles. So the main characteristics for this 3 segment, I think we can have a good recap, like wealth, wisdom, and wanderlust. So voila, I think this is a key aspect we can help us to remember for the 3 key reasons and key characteristics. And as I'm a French speaker, I think comparing to the pre-pandemic level, I'm inspired by the qualité de vie. That this concept is, I think it's a very French concept. When I first landed in France, talk about the life's quality, and very new to me. And I think for the main search quest of Chinese travelers when they travel to Europe in 2025 is qualité de voyage. They will not seeking for the quantities, kind of like 10-day visit 7 countries in Europe. I have done one time with my parents in a big bus. It was 2016, around kind of like maximum 2 nights in one country. And I spent most of the time on the bus to see the l'autoroute, the highway. It's quite fun. And we spent around kind of like 2 hours in one site. Even though have no time for shopping. So that is kind of like the period of the mass travel has ended. Now everything goes to the quality. They're looking for experiences. So individual experiences. Okay, there are new questions. Okay, I'll see these questions afterwards. Thank you, Dono. And for all the qualité de voyage, travel's quality, actually, as Chinese, they are very, very digitalized society in their own country. Like you can see all the apps they have used. This is all the apps you have in the WeChat ecosystem, the WeChat Pay, WeChat for Company, WeChat mini program, WeChat Moment to share your photos like Instagram feed. This is WeChat Messenger, where you have nearly all the Chinese speaking people on earth in China and abroad using WeChat Moment. So this is a huge ecosystem. And all here you have the social video like Douyin, Xiaohongshu. I put it in the middle, WeChat and Xiaohongshu, since these two is a really, really most used and influential ecosystem that for Chinese customer. And the Weibo has been a bit outdated. I'll say it's Chinese Twitter. And the Dianping is a Chinese version to give comments, like a Google review. And this is Alipay. If you travel to China, this one you have to download, and you have the English version to use it. And all this is all the Chinese online travel agency OTA coming from the Ctrip, Flybe, and others, etc. And also the ones to check the flight. And this is the camera, beautifying camera when they do the selfie. And all this is podcast to check the news, music, etc. Actually, since China has a very unique internet, you cannot have all the Western equivalent, Google, YouTube, etc. You have all this unique, their own version. So this ecosystem after COVID has been much more sophisticated 5 years ahead. So Chinese travelers, when they come out, they still want to have this convenience and services and the information that they can get from to maintain the same qualité de voyage. So I put this slide here because this is the main point I want to bring for this webinar. And this is this slide. On the left-hand side, you have this is research done by the Mindset about on the global average of the percentage of global travelers when they search information for duty-free shopping in airports. 12% searched on social media, and this is a global average. So you have other major nationalities. And for Chinese customers, 61% they are searched and influenced by the social media, which is I just want to show the gap. And here is I just highlight these 2 apps which is a very most powerful one. And for me, the most powerful for Europe luxury travelers for Gen Z and business leisures are from Xiaohongshu. I have also interviewed some of my friends, who is working in travel retail in Asia about Douyin and the quality of this video streaming platforms. She was kind of same age as me, in the post 80s, and she said Douyin she considered not as qualitative attractive for her, but for the Gen Z, Gen Z around 20 to 30 years old, I have asked, they are very driven by all the short video streamings on about travel in Prague, etc. So these two platforms, I say Xiaohongshu, you have all the audience, mainly female, and Douyin is mainly young audience, very young, Gen Z, opposed to 2000, sorry. So this photo, I'll say, what I want to put it here is for after the pandemic, I think if you want to stay in the top of the mind, in the mind of the Chinese customers, you have to stay in the top of their scroll. Since you can see 80, nearly 98% of Chinese customers compare their price when they shop in duty free. 58% plan to travel to the airport before their boarding, and all the informations they are doing by using all these apps, here to have the qualité de voyage, travel's quality maintained in their scrolling. So before your Chinese customers arrive in your store, I think the objective, the main challenge now is to stay in to be visible in the scroll, to stay visible in their ecosystem, in the ecosystem that they use the daily while they travel to Europe. It's the same for each category of product, and the same on mainly beauty and fashion. Actually, I can answer this question now. The beauty and fashion is actually the leading two categories. Beauty is around 23% of the purchases, and the fashion accessories, I think it's around 15% or 18%. I can give you the exact percentage. You have the main categories for the luxury, for beauty, and fashion doesn't change for in terms of dominance in the duty-free travel purchase weight. And I can give you more details answer after that, Isabel. So let's move on. For the beauty is 23, and the fashion accessories is 17%. And the price discount and also product authentic product is the main reason to purchase. When come to Europe, Paris, Europe, to Italy, to Milan, you buy something worth to carry back to China, right? So voila. Here I want to, now we are going by far. Do you have any questions? Okay, I think the questions are typing more or less in the chat. So let's continue to stay in time. I think the time is moving on. So I want to introduce you this app, which is the most important app for me. Is the platform which is involved in all the steps of digital journey and directly influence Chinese outbound travelers' decision-making process. Is Xiaohongshu. I put the Chinese pinyin phonetic so you can read it. The red notes, it's Xiaohongshu has over 300 million monthly active users as of 2024, and they are mainly from Tier 1 and the new Tier 1 Chinese cities. And also, I want to add, there are also a lot of users of Xiaohongshu, Chinese from Chinese states overseas, like me. They use also Xiaohongshu to check a lot of things. You also have the audience from both inside and outside of China. So inside China, you have already all the new Tier 1 cities. So the cities where you have the higher spending purchasing power comparing to the other Tier 2, Tier 3 other tier cities, and also the big pool of luxury shoppers coming. I think one of the big pool is the overseas Chinese. And 80% of the Xiaohongshu users are female users. And over 77% aged at 18 to 34. So it's a really post-90s generation. And one of the characteristics of Xiaohongshu users, for me, is because I also have an account on that. I have my vlog. It's Xiaohongshu is used also by the. They are very useful. It's this kind of this very young, dynamic, female, modern Chinese women sharing their lifestyle, their tips for raising kids, how to study, everything on Xiaohongshu. Xiaohongshu is really the treasure, online treasure. For me, I search everything on Xiaohongshu. If I want to find a restaurant even in Paris, you have a lot of UGC content. And this is the most qualified UGC application used by Chinese, both domestically and abroad. And a lot of Chinese living abroad, like working as lawyer, as accountant. Also, they have the commerce. They also use Xiaohongshu to drive traffic for their business. So you have a very qualified audience here. So let me accelerate. Now I'm going to present some recent sentences and practice about how to do the focus shift, meaning we are shifting from the point of sales animation, which is a major way to doing animation in duty-free, in travel retail before COVID. And then I think we should start from the pre-onboard, digitally pre-boarding our audience. And I pick some good examples, I think, which is very nice. If you have your team understand Chinese, you can see check on the Singapore Changi Airport Xiaohongshu official account. Actually, they have this account is actually operated very well. For example, for this YSL HPP podiums, they have all the information about this podiums, this kind of like shoppertainment. All the shoppertainment has been pre-communicated on the Xiaohongshu account the day from the 25th of May, and you have all the steps about what you can get and what kind of experiences you can have, what kind of samples and the products and the GW, etc. It's very, very full customer journey, pre-communicated. And here is the number of like, number of save, and number of interaction here on Xiaohongshu. So this is for brands to pre-communicate, pre-boarding customers by collaborating with the airport account, because I think it's a very good way to have you can directly gain organic, because since airport is always a destination when people travel. And the second example is from London Heathrow Airport. And this airport I have selected 4 different content. You can see they communicate the Heathrow reward, how to use the VIP card, and all the mechanic to gain. You have the different, and the communicate on duty-free shopping, what kind of offer, brand, assortment. And for some niche brands, this is a recap of all the niche brands you can find in the Heathrow. So if your brand hasn't launched in China local market or just launched with the awareness is not as spread as wide as a big brand, I think to leverage pre-communicate on the airports, Xiaohongshu account can be a good way to let them know. You can see this. You have 31 people saved this post. And also, this is the communication on the personal shoppers, all the services that you can have. You can have a Chinese-speaking personal shoppers here in Heathrow. It's quite well done. You can see the number of engagement is quite high for the offers. So all the offers links to the rewards, redeem to have a price discount, offered content has been more have lots of interests. Okay, let see new questions. And this one is from Paris Charles de Gaulle, and you can see the communication about the French delicacies. This is all the fine food, confectionery, high-end confectionery. Communicate all the timings, and you have many people ask questions about which kind of offer in the areas, etc. You need to have a community managers to manage. And this one is from T1. For the T1 Terminal 1 duty-free shopping site. You have this. I wish they have this shooting with the 2 Asian customers, and I think it means, but it's a French touch. It's France, and also all the les caves particulières, all the LVMH groups spirit brands are communicated here in the scroll. You have 13 pictures here. You can put 18 pictures for Xiaohongshu scroll in terms of how to say, static visual notes, and also for the video there's another format, etc. This is for Paris Charles de Gaulle. So there is a second way to to stay top of the mind, to stay visible in the scroll. I think is to do the geo-targeting when customers, Chinese travelers, arrive in their destination. And here is all the apps that you have seen previously. For example, here is with our collaborators in agency based in Shanghai. They have done this drive to store activation. And I think this was done recently, last year, on the jewelry and watch luxury stores. Well, actually, they have the way to activate. The first one is to activate the ad, identify the target audience through the apps that they are using. Chinese customer mainly select the relevant apps that the target audience of a certain brand, let's say Bulgari. This is just for illustration. And then we push app. This one is called open page ad. Open page ad is when you open your phone, your application. This is for Toutiao. It will stay for 5 seconds. And this app, when you click on it, if you click on it, you can redirect to a page. Here is go to the brand's mini WeChat mini programs page. And here, I think you can change it as a offer page, offer communication, or store locator, etc. And then drive to the offline store in Milan or in Florence. Voila. And here is another example with a collaboration with drive to store to an airport destination. It's for the confectionery multi-brand store of Hanneman in Hong Kong. It's called Sweet Dream. Same here. Stay in the app, and then you have the open page. Here, directly in the open page, I think for all the duty-free retailers, the most useful is to direct communicate the price off here, and there is limited time, additional 10% off here to claim your coupon. And the redeem rate is quite high, and we have the click-through rate around 3%. The click-through. So you have all the information about opening hours of the store, then you drive to the store. Voila. This is the drive to store, and always with the focus on the apps that Chinese travelers use. Third, last but not least, and your sales team, are they ready to receive Chinese customers in their store? Is it better to connect with Chinese travelers with red notes at the key differences? Okay, I'll answer this question. Hervé, it's a very good question because I did a lot of activation on the WeChat. And okay, so let me finish. I still have just 2 slides. So for the sales team, this is an average. It is a duty-free World Council's quarterly KPI monitor for Q2 2025. You can see this is for the global average key nationalities. 54% of shoppers duty-free in airport, they interact with the sales staff, and 33 are satisfied. One who interacted was satisfied, positively influenced. So the human touch in the nowadays AI around the world, I think it's quite precious, and which is also, I think, the uniqueness that of China travel retail channel, that all other online touch point, all other digital touch point cannot replace, because customers, they are in the point of sales. They have the face-to-face interactions. The travel retail is really the discovery channel. I quote this one from Martin Moody, the founder of Moody Reports, the latest blog article that he said. I think this is really the truth. So when your sales team meet customers, how they do do you have all the full sales team to do the personal shopper? I think this lady, she's dressing the Chanel's one. I think for some of the brands, you can rely on one Chinese or two Chinese speaking staff. But in terms of the flow of the passengers you have on the traffic peak, maybe you have to rely on all the staff who can speak and connect with Chinese travelers. For example, I picked this picture. I think it's very interesting. It's on Heathrow's, and because as Asian, we don't have the same facial characteristics when we choose sunglasses. So when the customer, imagine if she is Chinese, how you communicate to find this if we don't have this Xiaohongshu note? The second page of the Xiaohongshu, this note, is the guide for all the different face type. You can choose how to do the self-guided. But if your sales staff doesn't understand what it is, or your customer doesn't speak English, how they make it happen? So I think this is to reinforce the sales team's connectivity with today's Chinese traveler. It's one of the key challenges that we can raise very quickly. So we are proposing some services, trainings about China ready for sales teams. If you have any questions, you can book a meeting here to click this button on the top of your screen here. Voila. And now comes to the traveling peak season of Chinese travelers. We have the biggest season, actually, it's just behind us, summer. And the upcoming one is actually tomorrow, is Chinese Golden Day, Golden Week. And National Day is October. So this year, the Golden Weeks are very long. It can have 8 days. And the trend is that many Chinese people choose to leave 2-3 days earlier or stay behind longer to have a more qualified time. So this is really one of the peak to maximize as my previous experiences. And the other one, big peaks, is around the Year of the Horse, Chinese Lunar New Year. This one you have many traffics, especially from the overseas, to come back to China to visit and to visit their families. And the second Golden Week comes to the Labor Days around the 1st of May. So voila, I think we are here a bit over time. Do you have any questions? I have seen many questions. Okay, let me went through. Do you have no example of app-based activation that don't use rebates as a hook? I think this is the example of apps activation. We can book a appointment if you like VU. Since for many luxury brand, I think the rebate is not a choice. It's not a choice. For the brand equity reason, and this you can have the drive to store. I think the hook, apart from the rebate, I think in-store services or in terms of offer availability, such as some hot styles models that you can find only in Italy or only in Paris. I think here is a big a good opportunity to communicate, to leverage, or something dedicated to Chinese. I think maybe you don't want to have a huge Chinese communication, in store in the luxury boutique, because you have other nationalities. This is not fair to other nationalities. But using digital and also re-enhanced by the staff training when the activation is going on for all the staff, I think it can be a very good complement to do. Okay, merci beaucoup. Okay, I'll answer the question. Is it better to connect with Chinese travelers with WeChat or Red Note? What are the key differences? Okay, WeChat. Let me go to the slide with we have WeChat. Okay. The key differences of WeChat. WeChat actually is a messenger. The key usage is WeChat. You have a lot. You have every Chinese actually. The base is the user. You have the messaging information is the Chinese WhatsApp, but it's not only a WhatsApp. You have the shared moment to share with your closed circle of all your friends, and you have the mini program, the WeChat. Within the WeChat, you build a store, and directly you pay with WeChat, and also you can work with WeChat. So send the offer to your colleague. You can ask your friends who use WeChat to pay for you. And WeChat, you have the larger base. You have every Chinese actually who have a phone, not including even the younger one. Younger one, they don't have the phone. The kids in China, they have the connected watch. And they're in their connected watch, like 8 years, something like that, similar like my daughters. I know they can pay with their watch and ask their parents to pay. And also they can check the orders on Taobao and send the order to their parents to pay with WeChat. And this WeChat have a large base to connect. And the Xiaohongshu Red Note is mainly for the user-generated content, and it's mainly it's for sharing. It's like a Instagram plus. It's not only about brand ads for Instagram. You have many user-generated content. It's for the Red Note is mainly used by seeding. To have the seeding, sharing, and the buzz to have these platforms. It's better to connect. I think to connect with Chinese travelers, Red Note is incontournable. It cannot avoid. And WeChat is the end solution when you come to the store. Before COVID, I have did a lot of activations in Lagardère using WeChat, so you can catch all the with the communication dedicated with the WeChat logo in the store. I think I've done also one for the brand of your group, RD, and it's a Chinese customer. When they see the WeChat logo on the show card, they will just do the scan and receive the coupon. This is, I think, WeChat can use for the transaction in store and also to catch the traffic. Red Note is for the seeding on the pre-boarding side. What accommodation are they looking for their stay and how do they book it? I think accommodation, don't work in the hotel side, but I know for Chinese, especially for the leisure, business leisure, even for I think in the major hotels ranges 4 stars or 5 stars if they book in the hotels. I also have friends who are kind of like a wealthy Chinese working. They have their own factories. They booking Airbnb. They also use Airbnb. But in China, they use Ctrip. They can use Ctrip and Fliggy. Just for accommodation as well, because you stay in the Chinese ecosystem. And if you don't speak English. Okay, this one has been answered. Will they stop in by Le Printemps or around to shop? Stopping by Le Printemps? You mean for the Printemps in the... yeah, I think today you cannot say the Chinese are only to Lafayette. I think Printemps, Le Bon Marché is also well known for you have less people, somehow it's like less traffic. I have friends who was asking me about go to Printemps. Okay, to fit speak. Okay, I think I have answered the questions. Better to connect with Chinese. Okay, I then. Okay. What's the biggest mistake not to make when connecting with the Chinese travelers? This is a very good question, Hervé. I think the biggest mistake One is to say they are Chinese. Somehow we don't like to. I think this is not the biggest, but it can be a one offended one for some national reasons. Because for Western, you cannot figure out Asian face. It's like it's a Chinese. I have been asked a question by a Taiwanese, Korean or Japanese when I into a Taipei-based temple. Even for Asian, I think don't recognize Chinese as Chinese. This is a first, this have especially for the Gen Z, they have this national pride boosted by the UGC provided by the government. This I don't say nationalism. It's quite it's national pride, China pride, cette fierté. I think to be Chinese and don't recognize Chinese as Japanese. I think this is for the historical reason. I don't like. I think this is not one of the biggest mistake, but I think can be a faux pas culturel, cultural, which is not good. And I think not to make when connecting with a Chinese traveler. Yeah, I think to treat them with respect. This is I think the condescending attitude or the way that we are like this. Ooh, this is c'est la France. This is the way we do. Just the way to. I think yes, each country when they travel to France, they need to be more patient. But I think to treat people like don't treat them like a walking wallet. Treat them like a human. Yeah, I think is the one for me is the biggest mistake to avoid. And the other one, the first one, treat Chinese as a Chinese. Recognize them. It's a cherry on the cake. Are they still influenced by the crowd? Yes, I think so. We are in the collective society. It's but crowd now is existing on the internet here. The crowd is here. It's on the Xiaohongshu. It's by the influencers. You have the key opinion leaders, KOC, KOS, etc. They're still influenced by the crowd. I think the collaboration with well-identified influencers not only need to be celebrities. It can be a good way to leverage, add value and authenticity to your brand and to your brand storytelling to connect with Chinese customers. Yeah. Okay. So I will see, since I think time flies, we are a bit running over time. Thank you so much for staying here. Thank you for staying with me. And I will send you the replay after the webinar. And if you have any questions, we can book a meeting to discuss in details. Yes, thank you so much. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you. Yes, I'll keep it next time. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you. Thank you, Christine. See you tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice afternoon. Thank you for your listening. Bye-bye.